What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the link up. We got Efrum and Derz today, baby, because big things just happened. City topped the league as of today. Chelsea have sacked Liam Senor. What does this mean for Chelsea? What does this mean for the Premier League? What does it mean for Arsenal? Let's get into it, baby. Say what up, Derz.
What's going on, guys? And yeah, a lot of stuff happened this midweek fixture. We had some games going on, but I think the highlight of the mid game weeks was definitely Chelsea losing 3-0 to Brighton after what is that, their fifth game in a row without scoring a goal and losing in Premier League. And then Man City beating Burnley, relegated team, essentially a relegated team. I mean, they could still technically survive, but I think very low chances of doing that. But they only beat them 1-0, leaving Arsenal with a lot of hope, in my opinion. Tied on goal difference, tied in points. The only reason Man City's above them is because they have 3 extra goals that they've scored this season, which, you know, I feel like a lot of people are saying, well, I mean, we have said it a lot that Arsenal just doesn't score, but they're only 3 goals behind Man City, which, I mean, I don't think those are terrible numbers, but we would just expect more from a Premier League champion team. So yeah, definitely Arsenal. I think they have a bit of a sigh of relief to see Man City only winning 1-0. I think if this game ended 5-0, you could sign it off to City, start etching in the name. Did Chelsea make a mistake in getting rid of Liam this late in the season with all the stuff going on? What do you think about that one?
Yeah, just real quick, City. I mean, we expected them to smack Burnley by more than one. You know, they're relegated. They're potentially Champions League or Premier League winners, and they scored a goal early on, 5 minutes in. Early Holland, good little chip, 1-on-1. You just thought, damn, they're gonna just destroy Burnley, but no, they did good defensively. Just not what we expected, you know. So it gives hope to Arsenal, but it's still, I think Arsenal is still facing an uphill battle. They're second place now. City's first, have more goals. So that means if it does come down to GD, Arsenal has to have more because even having the same amount of GD, at least as of now, City's going to take that, you know? So Arsenal has to score many goals. They have to compete in a tough Champions League. They have a little number of players on their team. It's not looking too good, you know? They're in the arms race right now with City. See who's got the most power up top, at least. So I don't know. You can't sign anything off, but we might start selling some Arsenal water bottles in the near future. Moving on to Chelsea, Liam Rossignol. I did like Liam from the get go. I thought he was funny as a manager. Like he would do little banter stuff with the teams. You know, stuff you don't really see with managers nowadays. You know, just very. Um, it could be he's a lot younger. He's around their age. They could banter around with each other. You get the chemistry up. It's almost like a Ted Lasso. You get the players to play better, you know. But it wasn't the case this time. They've lost 6 out of their last 7 games. Terrible, terrible for any team. And we were having questions, you know, just like with not Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea. We're like, what's going to happen with their managers? Are they staying? Are they leaving? We weren't sure. Many people think they should get rid of their managers. They've had a terrible season, especially after a record with what Chelsea had. They put their foot down. They put their foot down. Boom, Liam gets the boot. And yeah, we'll see if Liverpool and Newcastle can. Are they going to keep the same pace? Are they going to match their vibe? Or are they going to keep their managers? But that's a story for another time. Because Chelsea, did they make the right move doing this? Like I was saying, I liked him from the get go. You saw what he was trying to do. I guess between team and manager, they just didn't have the right idea for the future. He had to go. So unfortunate. I don't think it's his problem. I think it's more with the owners of Chelsea. They just don't know how to run the club. You throw $2 billion in 4 years, and you're still shit. So I don't want to give the blame to Liam. You can't blame him. I think you got to blame the owners. They're the ones that put him in charge to an already shit team, and you expect them to make them non-shit. So it's I still think Liam is a good manager. I wish him the best wherever he goes. But the question is, who are Chelsea gonna get? That's a question of the topic because do you bring someone in now? Do you put in an interim in the meantime? Wait for the summer when there's going to be a lot more managers available, especially after the World Cup. I think you just have to wait it out. What do you think, Durs?
Yeah, so I think that this was kind of a stupid decision to make when you look at it, I guess, from a large scale. Like, you're going into the end of the season, you have a FA Cup semifinal still to play, and potentially a FA Cup final that could lead you into Europa League if, for whatever reason, you don't qualify by regular, getting sixth place in the league. So I feel like there's just a lot on the on hand right now for Chelsea to just kind of throw it away and get someone new. So I feel like if you bring anybody in new, you have to go in with somebody who is going to get you those results. Um, I think it's a little bit weird that the poor results started right when. So on March 16th, 2026, the Premier League released a statement about how Chelsea self-reported for basically not being in compliance with financial fair play. And March 14th was the I guess the first Premier League game that Chelsea went on that run of, or still ongoing run of not scoring a single goal in the Premier League and losing every game. Conspiracy theory or not, I don't know. Maybe something's going on in Chelsea that
What could they
we
be
don't
cooking
know.
with that though? What does that mean?
Well, the fact that
What could them losing the game bring to them?
the way that I see it, not that they lost to Newcastle, meaning we're gonna self-report. What I mean is the other way around. Like, they self-reported that they can't do it. They made the thing. Okay, you guys can't buy anybody this summer. And now I think the players are giving up on the project. If you understand what I'm saying, like, the players
Yeah,
don't
that's
believe in
fine.
the project anymore because
Okay.
of this financial fair play issue, that they know that they can't buy anybody new. So it's kind of like, well, let's just screw this whole season so that they have to get rid of us. You know, they have enough players to replace us with, somebody else. So who cares? Everybody just kind of giving up on the project, and I feel like everybody's kind of lost their heads. And maybe Liam, uh, got the short end of the stick. They threw him under the bus. They fired him. Um, and I feel like we know this team is better than to go on one, two, three, technically 6 games in a row without scoring a goal. When you take away that game against Port Vale in the FA Cup, we know that they're a better team to go goalless in all those games and lose all those games, right? So I
Mhm.
feel like there's just been a little bit of maybe, somebody trying to stir the pot, someone trying to ruin Chelsea from within, a rotten apple. But yeah, going back to the question, who would you get? I feel like based on your season, right? The season's not over. Um, you could technically still get sixth place, potentially Champions League, but we all know that's probably not really realistic. But mathematically, you can qualify for Champions League. You're in the FA Cup semifinal versus Leeds, which is definitely a team that you can beat. You have to go. I mean, it's done. You already got rid of Liam. You have to get somebody good enough that you could trust to finish the season off. But that's the thing, is who would take on that job? Honestly, I wouldn't take on that job just to come into a team that's completely in shambles, to try to fix a season right in the last 4 games of the season, and knowing that next season you won't be able to buy anybody new, you won't be able to make any transfers. So
That
I
sounds
think
kind
that
of
this
fun
is
if you ask me.
just for the fun of it.
It just for the it's like when you buy an old car as a project car, you know?
But
I feel
this is
like
not
it's
an
like
old
that.
car. This is like a
I feel like
Ferrari
it's
that's
something
missing
like
an
that where
engine.
it's just like, all right, let me cook. Let me cook with what I got. Jurgen Klopp came into Liverpool not making many transfers, cooked with what he got, and he made him better, you know? But you do need a manager that's like you can't bring Ancelotti and or Mourinho or Luis Enrique, like a top name, and expect them to cook this, because those are the guys where it's like, well, I've already done that to earn my respect. At this point, you give me a team who's ready for complete takeover from my thoughts, and I still get the ability to buy players in the summer. Plus, it doesn't have that. So you get someone who, I mean, Liam Reese Senior is a good example. Someone who's got something to prove, who's good, who's could cook with what they got, and then make it a project. When you know you can't buy players, it's almost like a challenge as a manager. Can I get the best out of these players? I think in Chelsea's situation, it's going to be very tough, especially with the egos and the players they have. They all have a price value. They all want to win, but they've chose money or greed. Now they've come to find out that they're not going to get more players. They're shit. What do? Players might want to leave. There's going to be a couple that want to stay. You get a manager who's willing to make that change happen, who's got something to prove, and then you just hope for the best at that point. Hope the manager's good enough. But something I don't like that Chelsea do is, they kind of don't give much control of the managers. Like all they're there to do is manage. I mean, they've been doing this for the last couple of years. They just get a coach, and um, you can't do with any. You can't choose your players or what. You just got to do with what we got, what we give you, and make it work. When you give a team like, or when they used to do with Mourinho, he had full control. Like the players he wanted in, the team would get. The team wanted out, they would get out. Chelsea's they have like C teams, B teams, D teams, where it's all become a business, for the owners, and they kind of handle that. They do the negotiation, you just play the players, and obviously it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. So I don't like this whole new trying to do that meta. The managers trying to just have control over everything. Let the manager cook. They're the ones running the team. They see them every day. Let them choose what they want. And I think you see when teams do that, they kind of end up better. Um, that's not the case no more because they can't buy players this season anyway. So who do you bring? I don't know, but it can't be any of those top dog names because they're going to want to buy players. They're going to want players that they want to play their style, that fit their style. And now you just got to deal with someone who's got something to prove. Maybe someone who's not as known, who has a good World Cup, and they want to step down. I don't know, but it's not looking too good. The players might turn. But yeah, for a manager who really's up for it and wants to do it and thinks it's fun, because they just love the game, then it makes sense for someone like that to join. But I don't know who. I don't know.
At least for the short term, though, that's my
For
main
the
thing.
short
Is it
term,
makes no
I
sense.
mean,
It makes no sense for anybody to get the job. Who would take that job? I'm saying just to finish the season, because of course in the summer they could convince somebody, right? After the season's over, they could convince somebody, but to get somebody to sign
just
on to
get
this
Frank
project,
Lampard
these
that
last
they
five
already
games,
won. They already qualified.
that's so disrespectful to Coventry for you to be like, let me just take on this job at Chelsea for 4 days or for 4 weeks. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Why did I would have just kept them. But also in this press conference, this last one against from the last game, the Brighton Chelsea game, Liam Rosenier kind of went off on the owners, essentially, kind of like saying like this isn't something. It comes from the top, basically. The issues are at Chelsea are coming from the top, and then he gets the sack. I mean, obviously something's not working out when you have Enzo Maresca leaving on his own will, rescinding his contract, and trying to get out of this situation. Something's not going right in Chelsea. We saw it in Man U not that long ago. I mean, coaches weren't leaving Man U on their own volition, but I mean, Ronaldo did it. So important people are definitely going to stand up, and if they feel like they're not being valued, they're gonna leave. I mean, I guess Ruben Amorim kind of, maybe it was mutual, maybe it wasn't, but Yeah, I mean, something needs to fix or something needs to get fixed from within. And I think the rotten apple is the owners. I mean, the owners suck. I think we all know this when Americans get into soccer. Not all the time, but most of the time. I mean, AC Milan right now is in shambles ever since they got the new ownership from the American investors, and now Chelsea. So, not to say like Americans are trash, but they just don't understand the culture. They don't understand what it is, um, and like how important the academy is, how important the fan base is, how important the players are. We're not just trading players every single season and not giving a fuck like how they do in
I
most
mean, look at
American
FSG,
sports.
they're American. They were the Red Sox owners, come to Liverpool, and they've turned them around. They could be good managers. They decided to do. They thought about the future, not just now. I feel like Chelsea was focused on the now. We need players now. While Liverpool was a whole like as soon as they came in, we need to work. We need to invest in our training facility. Boom, redo it. We need more tickets. Let's expand Anfield. Boom, they grew it little by little, getting players in that were good for market value. You know, and we could turn them and flip them around. Hopefully, get the best out of it. I think FSG did a great job. I mean, look how far Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp did from where they were. But it was because they were focusing on what was going to give them the most ROI in the future, and they were thinking they were going step by step by step. It was going to take years, but time flies, baby. 7, 8 years later, look where they are now. Now they're able, because of that, make those expensive buy-ins. Now we're at that top level because they did it the right way. Chelsea was just like, give me everybody. I don't care how much or what. Boom, boom, boom. Let's bring it in. So it's unfair to say all Americans are stupid. I mean, most of them are, but like you can't say when you have teams like Liverpool with American owners that actually ran it the right way. Chelsea's case, not the smartest, not the best. They've probably lost a lot of money. Uh, hey, but they want to run it like a business. There's up and downs in businesses, so that's a taste of their own medicine. So, um, yeah, like most of them, it's just unfair to say, but Chelsea
Well, yeah,
obviously went the brightest.
not all of them are going to fail. Not all of them are going to succeed. But I think Chelsea's situation's a little bit um, different because also they're Abramovich, the original owners. He kind of got forced out because of all the stuff going on with Russia.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like when it started, and I feel like that's just kind of really unfortunate. But it is what it is. Where would Chelsea be right now if they had the same ownership as they had before? So that kind of sucks from the Chelsea fans' perspective. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't know who's going to take that job, though. To be honest, it makes no sense. I would not take that job unless I'm young and very eager, and I think that I'm ready for this role. And I don't see who is available because at this point of the season, it's kind of hard to convince someone to leave their team um, to join yours. So I mean, Tottenham did it with the Zerbi, with Marseille. Leaving Marseille. So get someone from a lower league and maybe you convince them. But I wouldn't take the job. It
I
just
think
seems like a shit show.
they'll get an interim, someone just running in the meantime. Could be like someone from the staff already that they work with, just to kind of just hold it down for now, and then it makes the most sense just to wait for the summer. Why bring
It
someone in
does.
now when you're gonna have a lot more options in the summer?
It does make more sense. But my thing is, if you take action now, you might be able to save the season and qualify for Europa League. Rather, if you get an interim manager, it's kind of like saying like, "Oh, well, we tried, but it's
I
probably
mean,
not going to
what
work out."
what you bring in a manager now? What can they possibly do in the span of 4 weeks? You're not
We
gonna
do have the
make
FA
them
Cup.
grow. You're not gonna implement a whole system in that time that they want them to learn. Like at the end of the day, it's soccer. You know how to play soccer. You get the same players, and you make them do work. Month is not a long time in that soccer world. You can't just train people. You get what I'm saying? If you do
Yeah,
want to save the season, no matter who you bring, it's still the same players. It's still the same philosophy they've probably had to just really change them or mold them into something that you want within these last 4 games to do what you want. It's no matter who you bring, it's gonna be tough. Not saying it's impossible. Maybe you could bring Ancelotti, and all of a sudden, like these fools respect him and they want to play harder, and you you bring belief into them and hope, and you say the words that a top coach says to their players to get the best out of them, and then boom, for those 4 last games, they win them, and maybe that's all it takes: motivation, inspiration. You get the right guy for that. But to get a whole new manager to change how everyone does everything, damn, it's getting dark. Um, it's not something I really see a point for. So I still think that it makes the most sense to wait for the summer.
yeah, it does. It does, honestly, and that's the only way that it could work is if you get in somebody who that brings that respect to the players, that makes them kind of inspired. But again, you don't have that in the market right now, especially not going into a World Cup. They're all taken. So I think Chelsea's just kind of had to Hail Mary the situation, get somebody and see if it works.
Hmm.
It has worked in some situations and very, very, you know, smaller situations. I mean, I can only speak from my experience from what I've seen. And I remember Chivas got a coach one time just to finish off the season, and he ended up winning every single game. Michael Carrick is kind of doing the same thing with Manchester United. So sometimes you get these coaches that you're just like, you have no expectations, and sometimes they thrive. And maybe that could save Chelsea's season, at least for the time being. But we'll see what happens come the summer, I guess. Once we after the World Cup, maybe we'll see a lot more coaches. Maybe they'll bring back USA's coach. I'm forgetting Pochettino. Maybe they'll bring him back.
Yeah,
Um,
is he with the U.S.?
he's with the US.
Fair enough. I wonder what their plans are after the World Cup then.
Yeah, so we'll
So,
see. But
yeah, that's enough of Chelsea. We'll see what comes out as the weeks go on by. I did just want to bring one thing up too. So recent news: Fabrizio Romano, um, some other guys just been saying with Liverpool and Slot that Liverpool want to keep Slot for next season. What are your thoughts? I'll give you mine after, but I want to see what you have to say first.
I, I'm not too big on Liverpool. I'm not going in and seeing every game. I do look at the scores. I don't think that the scores are what Liverpool wants, right? I think that Liverpool kind of the fans would want a higher position to have gone farther in the cups, to have gone farther in the Champions League. I think overall, everyone could agree that this season was a little bit of a flop when it comes to Liverpool standards, at least for the last 10 years.
Hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, all their big star players this season needed a little bit of time to adjust. Injuries to Isak, injuries to Ekitike. Florian Wirtz was just not ready. Frimpong was injured a lot. Kirk is not really gelling that well, or at least not fitting the role that he was expected to play. But overall, I think that towards the end of the season, they kind of started to figure things out. Me personally, I'm just I maybe it's my bias, but I think that Xabi Alonso is the perfect candidate to take over the job. And I think sometimes you just got to be cutthroat and be like, look, you didn't do good. There's somebody else better. There's somebody better out there. Um, and no harm, no foul. I'm trying to get somebody with the BBL type shit. I don't want you no more.
BBL Drizzy. Yeah, I feel it. Um, yeah, not. Yeah, I mean, I think even Liverpool fans can agree they would prefer, or they just want to try out life with Xabi Alonso. The opportunity being there, and for us not to try, it's almost like the one that got away if we don't pull through. So when you hear LFC, the owners are backing Slot for next season, as a fan, you're just like, why? Yeah, he won the league, but this season we've been shit. We've been shit. Had nothing really. Like, we don't have no style. We don't have a trademark. Like we just don't have it figured out. Who do you point fingers at? The manager. A whole season is a long time, and I never felt at any point where we were like really consistent. We have found something that represents us, the way we play. There was never a time where we felt that, you know? So this season, you hear that and you're like, what the hell is going on, you know? Two things or two ideas. So as of late, Liverpool have, like before this season, Liverpool have been right most of the time. You know, they bring in Jurgen, you bring all these players. Um, we had a cheap spending or like somewhat cheap. We bought we needed midfielders. We bring McAllister, Gavenberg, Soboslai. People doubted him. They ended up becoming beast last season and just taking on the league. Look at Soboslai now. Gravenberch, 30 mil. He became a beast last season. McAllister as well. Sane, Mane, Van Dijk, Allison. No, it could go on. Number of players. They bring him in, become beast. Um, this season, you spent 500 mil. You're not getting the same thing no more. Um, maybe they need time. Every time I feel like Liverpool's doing the wrong thing, they shut me up and they go on and prove me wrong. So this could be another case of that. Maybe they see something in Slot that we don't, uh, and it could be he does really just need more time. Another transfer window. Maybe this was part of the whole the whole project. You know, you give him one this window, we give him next window when Van Dijk, Allison, you know, considering leaving, Salah leaves. Um, Now you give him a thorough chance. You know, this season you can say he got unlucky, a lot of injuries. You know, it's a lot of players coming in for the first time. You're not going to get the best out of them right off the bat. You know, I still think a whole season is a long time, and just like it makes sense to, you know what, let me back Liverpool if they trust Slot as a fan. If they see something in him, I'm gonna back him up as well. Or you, or this could be a whole bunch of BS. You know, they just saying they back him for now. Earlier in the season, they were having talks about renewing his contract. As the seasons went on by, you stopped hearing that. You know, you don't hear that no more. Um, so it could just be talk for now, just to end off the season, and then with the numbers that Slot had this season, you know, they just cut him, and then they end up getting a new manager. Um, because it makes the most sense, you know, after the season that Slot had, it makes no sense to keep him. You know, it could just be talk for now, and in the summer, hey, JK, bro, you're out of here. You know, because we haven't heard new talks of a contract, this and that. You know, if they really did back him, they would have given him that contract already. You know, but what I don't want to happen is we end up keeping him, and then by October we find out he's actually shit. Now we gotta get an whole we fire him, we get another manager in October, November. Now we just wasted 8 months where we could have been working with a new manager. You know, that's the only thing I don't want to happen. You know, we're gonna back him up. We end up sticking with him. Then I hope they're right, which for the most part they have been. Uh, or if this is just BS, we end up getting rid of him in the summer. Then it's all right as well. You know. But that's the way I see things. We'll see how things come out. How do you feel about that?
That makes sense what you're saying because I mean Fabrizio Romano this whole past week had been saying that Chelsea is backing Liam Rossinier, and then he gets sacked today. Obviously, Slot isn't losing 5 games in a row in the Premier League, it's not scoring a single goal, but it could just be talk. It could just be just enough to quiet the fans, quiet everybody, and to let us do the work in the background. So we'll see what happens. I mean, and also like you said, if you had faith in them back then, you have to have faith in them to be making the right decision now. Nothing has changed as far as who the people are and making the decisions, right? So if they made the right decision on getting Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Virgil van Dijk, all these type of players, you have to have faith in him, faith in those same people to be making the right decisions now.
Exactly, exactly. Well said. So it's getting dark over here, so I think we'll cut it there. Um, we'll see how the league progresses. Champions League's coming up. Um, but yeah, let us know what your thoughts, your opinions. Smash that like button, subscribe, check out our TikTok. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one, guys. Peace.
Peace.